Hi, this is Lara at Elliott Wave Forex with your free S&P 500 analysis from a pure Elliott Wave perspective for the trading week ending Friday the 23rd of July. I'm going to start this analysis first up with a look at a monthly chart that goes back to the early 70s, and the data feed that I'm using with these net dania charts is a full data feed. It includes after hours data. So I'm pretty happy with counting this as the end of a cycle degree fifth wave. If you look at data that goes back prior to the early 70s, you see a really long, strong 5 waves up. Thereafter, we've really obviously got an A, B, working on wave C to the downside of an expanded flat correction. This piece of movement is pretty obviously corrective. It has a corrective wave count. This piece of movement is really obviously corrective. It has a lot of corrective behavior. Now we're on cycle degree wave C to the downside, and within it we've got these impulsive waves 1 and working on 3 to the downside. This C wave is going to be a 5 wave structure. The target for the downside for wave C at cycle degree to end in the long term, a few years away, may lie about 344.09. That's where wave C, which began up here, will reach 1.618, the length of A, which is a pretty common relationship between the two for an expanded flat correction. Having a look a little bit more close up at this monthly chart, this is what I mean by this piece of movement, that wave B. Here's our expanded flat, here's the end of that long, strong 5 with an A, B, and working on the early stages of C. This piece of movement here is really obviously corrective. It's got a lot of interlapping blue and red candlesticks, and the candlesticks are shorter. Whereas now we're into an impulsive structure to the downside, a lot of red candlesticks going down with corrections along the way, but overall the trend, the direction is really clear, and it's moving pretty fast. Again, this piece is corrective, interlaced blue and red candlesticks, and looking at this on a weekly chart, just going to look at this piece of movement now on a weekly chart, and this shows it what I'm trying to explain a little bit better. This piece of movement is really clearly impulsive. It has corrections along the way, but when it's moving down, the trend is unmistakably down. This is an impulse, whereas this piece of movement to the upside is very clearly corrective. The bars are shorter, it's trading in a smaller range, and we've got lots of interlaced red and blue candlesticks. No matter how you draw a trend channel around this primary wave 2, it's very clearly been breached to the downside. And look at the difference in these candlesticks here compared to within primary 2. We're very clearly in an impulsive movement to the downside. It's unmistakably, obviously, primary 3 to the downside. So looking at this wave behavior, I'm going to use that to eliminate any possibility that we're in some kind of triangle formation, or we're continuing with a short correction that's going to turn around and move up to new highs. I don't think that's the case. I think it's pretty obvious that wave behavior is telling us that the trend is down. So taking you now to a daily chart where this black Z and maroon 2 is this black Z and maroon 2 up here, and here's our recent downward movement, and we've got a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down to end minor 1, working on minor 2 to the upside. My first analysis I did for the S&P just a few days ago was invalidated. I had a blue 2 label here which was incorrect, and re-examining this piece of movement, it seems pretty obvious that this little piece I have now labeled B pink is really obviously corrective. It has a corrective wave count. So this is an A, B, and we're working now on C to the upside. Within wave C, we're still not there yet, and I have a target to the upside for this blue wave 2 to end about 1149.50, which is about 10 points above the 0.618 Fibonacci ratio of this whole fall down. So that's a pretty reasonable expectation that A and C are going to reach equality. That's how I worked out that target. I think it's likely that it'll just overshoot that 0.618 Fibonacci ratio, and then it'll turn down and have some extremely dramatic movement to the downside as we're in a third wave within our first wave at intermediate degree. Taking you now to an hourly chart where this pink A and pink B is this pink A and pink B down here. And this is what I mean by this wave has a corrective wave count. We can count a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, which is corrective. Corrective wave count is 3, and any extensions add another 4. So 8, 2 extensions plus 3 is 11. So this is a corrective wave count. Thereafter, we're working on wave C pink to the upside to end our minor or blue wave 2. We've got a really nice clean 5 waves up for 1, a clean little 3 waves down for 2, and we're working now on towards the end of another 5 waves up for 3. A little bit further up to go. A target in the short term for wave 3 green to end about 1121.1 to 1124.44. There are so a little bit further up to go. This is not a complete 5 waves. We could try and count 1, 2, 3, 4, but 4 goes into 1, therefore this is an extended 3 within this 5th wave. So further upwards movement to end wave 3, about to that target, and thereafter a correction to the downside for a 4th wave. At that stage, and not before, but at that stage, we'll also have an invalidation point to the downside, 1091.4, because wave 4 green cannot move into wave 1 price territory. This invalidation point doesn't hold while we're still in this 3rd wave up, but when it's over, then the invalidation point down here comes into play. Thereafter, another 5 wave structure to the upside, either an impulse or possibly, unfortunately, a diagonal, which cannot move above 1220.10, which was the start of wave 1 blue. So that's my updated analysis for you for the S&P. We've got some pretty strong invalidation points. I'm much more confident about this wave count. I was completely blown away with the huge response to my first S&P analysis, and seeing as people seem to want it, well, I'll keep doing it as long as you want it. I hope this helps you in your trading, and I hope everyone's having a fabulous weekend.